now we are start our case study group discussion. We are from group 1 and our topic is the success story of digital learning. And we have 3 questions. The first question is Shechi and Susing, and the third question is Alif and Hanan, and the last question is me, Hui Yi, and Alia. So we are start from question 1 and I pass to Shechi.
Today, I would like to talk about one of the biggest challenges faced by educators in Malaysia during the sudden shift to online learning due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This challenge is the increased workload of teachers and their lack for readiness for digital teaching. Let me start by setting the content. Before 2020 years, almost all teaching in Malaysia was done face-to-face in physical classroom. Most teachers were trained to deliver lessons using traditional methods like whiteboard, textbook, and direct verbal instruction. Digital learning tools were not widely used, especially in public schools or in rural areas. When the pandemic hit in early 2020 years, schools were suddenly forced to shut down without much warning and preparation. All classes had to move online almost overnight. This caused a major disruption in the education system, and teachers found themselves in familiar tutoring. Many educators were not ready for this change. They lacked experience in using online platforms like Google Meet, Microsoft Teams, or Delima, which was the official Malaysian online learning platform. For most of them, using technology was limited to perhaps PowerPoint or email. And now they had to teach full lesson, virtual management, student engagement, and provide feedback online. A strong example for this challenge comes from Nashima Banu, a biology teacher at Selangor Matriculation College. In an interview, she shared her experience for adapting to online teaching. She mentioned that teaching biology is very hands-on. It involves lab experience, physical models, and classroom demonstration, all of which are difficult to replace online. She had to relearn and adapt quickly using tools like Google Meet and Delima, while also learning how to make her lesson engaging in a digital format. What's important to understand is that online teaching is not just about transferring face-to-face lessons to the internet. It requires extra preparation. Teachers had to design slide and digital material and record video lecture, learn to use learning management system is LMS, and often provide teach support to students and even parents. Unlike in physical classroom, where lesson ends when the bell is ring, online learning often blur in the line between works and rest. Students need science questions in evening and teacher was expected to respond. Some teachers also had to handle technical problems, such as students who could not log in or could not access the material. All this additional responsibility led to a significant increase their workload and stress. Many teachers report feeling of burnout, especially those in school with fewer resources and poor internet connectivity. In some cases, teachers had to use their money to upgrade device and or internet service just to keep up with the demands of PDPR, pengajaran dan pembelajaran di rumah or home-based teaching and learning. To summarize, this challenge highlight how the pandemic not only disrupted education but also exposed the digital divide and the need for better teacher training in educational technology. While some teachers like Nashima eventually adapt and even found success, many others continue to struggle under the weight of sudden expansion and limit support. This experience shows us that for any future crisis, we must be better provide some support to uneducated through training, infrastructure, and mental health support. Thank you, and then I pass to Susing.
Okay, thank you, Shechi, for sharing about the success story of digital learning. first challenges. Hello everyone, my name is Shushu Singh and my metric number is 302288. Today I would like to talk about one of the biggest challenges that Malaysia faced during the COVID-19 pandemic, especially during the sudden transition to online learning. And that is the lack of digital literacy and limited access to technology. These challenges affected not only students but also teachers across the country, and it is something that we can really see through the stories shared in the case study titles is the success stories of digital learning. Before the pandemics, most schools in Malaysia relied entirely on face-to-face teachings in physical classrooms. There was minimal use of digital tools in daily lessons, especially in rural areas. So, when the pandemic forced schools to close and move everything online, the entire education system had to adapt almost overnight. But the reality is many were not really ready, and this is where the first major challenges comes in. Students and teachers were not digitally literate, especially in under-resourced or rural areas. So let me first talk about the students. In the case study, teacher S. Premalatas from SKT Ladang Prayer in Nimbong Tebal, Penang, shares a very powerful examples. She said that many of her students actually struggle just to find the letters on the keyboard. This clearly shows how serious the digital literacy gap was. Imagine students wanting to learn but not even knowing how to type. She mentions that even though the students were excited to try new things and were willing to learn, they simply lacked the basic digital skills needed to participate effectively in online classes. And it didn't stop there. Many students, especially in rural areas, didn't have their own device. Some had to share a single smartphone with their siblings just to attend classes. On top of that, the broadband infrastructure in these areas was very weak, making it hard to stream lessons or download learning materials. So we can see that the combination of poor digital literacy and lack of technology access creates a serious barriers for students trying to continue their education during lockdown. Now let's move on to the teachers. From the same case study, Nashima Madhu, a teacher from Selangor Matriculation College, shared her own struggles when trying to convert her small biology lessons into an online format. She says that at the beginning it was really tough because she was already used to teaching physically in a classroom setting. She even mentions, I have to train myself as a teacher, my confidence should be there. So this shows us that teachers also had to suddenly learn how to use online platforms like Google Classroom, Dilemmas, Zooms, and many others. Usually without any formal trainings, they had to do this while also preparing lessons, making homework and dealing with technical problems like unstable internet connections. So their workload became even heavier. Imagine trying to teach a practical science subjects without laptops or students' interactions is for definitely a hard adjustment. So, from both sides, student and teachers, we can see that the transition to digital learning exposed some serious inequalities and weaknesses in our education system. The urban schools adapted more quickly, while rural schools were left struggling. These situations highlighted need for long-term investment in digital infrastructures, better distribution of devices, and most importantly, comprehensive digital literacy trainings, not just for students but for teachers as well. Because if their basic needs are not addressed, it will be very hard for us to achieve effective and inclusive digital learning in the future. So that's all from me for these sessions. I hope these sharings help you all better understand the real life challenges behind the scenes during Malaysia learning journeys and since it's a case study. Thank you.
so much for listening. Now I will pass it over to our group member, Elif, to continue presenting question 2. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Muhammad Ali Zulkifli Zulkifli. My metric number is 297439. And now I'm going to explain about two ways in which digital tools such as Telema and Chromebooks help students overcome difficulties in adapting to online learning. Okay, at the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic, the sudden shift to online learning posed significant challenges for both teachers and students. Many were unprepared for the transition, lacking the necessary digital skills and familiarity with online tools to navigate virtual classroom effectively. Nashimah Bamu, which is in Selangor Matriculation College, expressed the initial difficulty she faced in adapting her in-person teaching methods to an online environment. Teaching a subject as intricate and hands-on as biology made this transition particularly demanding, especially during her first attempt at conducting online lessons. To address the issue brought on by this ab- abrupt change, various applications and digital initiatives were introduced to support both students and educators. These tools aim to promote accessibility, engagement, and the smooth integration of learning materials through digital platforms. By easing the burden of the transition, this initiative help create a more inclusive learning environment for individuals who initially struggle to adapt to online education. One notable platform that played a crucial role in this transition was Delima, Malaysia's centralized online learning hub, designed to streamline the teaching and learning process. Delima offers a structured and user-friendly interface where students can easily access a wide range of educational materials. Nashima Banu highlighted that Delima was created with the intent of making it easier for the students to keep up with their lessons and ensure continuity in their academic progress during virtual learning sessions. Telema integrates a variety of learning resources and digital tools into one comprehensive system. This includes instructional videos, ebooks, quizzes, and interactive activities. It also supports the use of widely adopted applications such as Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, and Zoom, providing students and teachers with multiple options to facilitate interaction and engagement. With all the resources available on one centralized platform, students are able to follow along with lessons more effectively, revise material independently, and gain a deeper understanding of their subjects. This helps bridge the gap created by the absence of face-to-face instructions and ensure that learning outcomes are still achieved despite the shift to a digital format. Furthermore, the use of Chromebook has significantly enhanced accessibility and equity in the learning process. With these devices, students can log in using their Google accounts and immediately gain access to their files, apps, and browser settings across any Chromebook device. This level of convenience is especially important in a time when learning may occur across different locations and times. The consistent interface and cloud-based storage ensure that students are not restricted to a single device, enabling flexible learning anywhere with an internet connection. For educators, especially teachers, Chromebooks simplify the process of guiding students through digital platforms. Teachers can provide clear instructions and learning materials without the confusion of device-specific limitation, as the Chromebook OS ecosystems offer a standardized and intuitive experience. This uniformity supports a more consistent teaching approach and reduces the barrier that might otherwise hinder participation. In summary, while the transition to online learning was initially met with resistance and uncertainty, the implementation of platforms like Telema and tools such as Chromebooks has transformed digital education landscape. This innovation has helped ease the adjustment period, support student engagement, and empower educators to deliver effective instruction remotely. With continued development and integration of such digital resources, the future of online learning in Malaysia appears promising, offering a more accessible and resilient education system for all. Okay, so that's my answer. Do you guys agree with my answer about Dilemma and Chromebook? Yeah. So, but I'm wondering, what's one more answer about this? So I let Hanan to explain more about this. Thank you.
Okay, Alif, thank you for your answer for that. Yeah, I will continue, Alif. Yeah. Oh, before that, I want to introduce myself first. My name is Hana Marivati Zuhair with the metric number of 297,435. Yeah, so I will just want to share a bit about how ways of digital tools like Chromebooks and Dilemma have really helped students in Malaysia. So since around 2020, all schools here have been connected with 4G internet, which is a virtual learning platform and a good ratio of computers to students. So basically, it's in another words, it's like saying one computer for every 10 students. So if we go back 5 years in the past where we can work, where we were students, I'm sure that all of us in this meeting also experience hardships of trying to adapt to online learning, right? You guys also one of those students who are struggling to learn, trying to understand Google apps, right? Okay. Yeah. And I also bet that before COVID-19 and digital applications, we don't really use applications like Google Meet and Google Classrooms. Yeah, we start using them after 2020. So this was possible because Malaysia provided Chromebooks to about 10 million students, teachers, and even parents. So these tools give students a chance to be more involved in their learning. So with Chromebooks, they can look up informations, work on group projects, and improve their digital skills. Uh, and so, which is actually a really important nowadays, both in school and later in the workplace for them. Yeah. For example, a teacher named as Primalata from a school in Nibotebal said that many of her students, even those who didn't have much experience with technology, they actually become excited to use the Chromebooks. They were curious and eager to learn how to use them properly, which made them more confident and motivated. And another teacher, Nashima Banu from Selangor Matriculation College, mentioned that even though subjects like biology still needs hands-on learning, right? Like Zuchi just said, yeah, and also Sisi just said, still biology subject like biology still need hands-on learning. But still, with the Lima platforms, help her students to keep up with their lessons. So even if they couldn't be in a physical classroom right there face to face, they could still learning with the Lima. Yeah, and I think what's really nice about this tool is that they also make learning more fun. Yeah, there are interactive activities like online games and group tasks that let students express themselves more than they might be able in a regular classroom, and it helps them to be more creative and engaged. So overall, digital tools like Chromebooks and Dilemma really support students, not just with learning, but also building confidence, working with others, and getting ready for the future. Yeah, so that is my answer for question 2. I will pass to the next presenter for the question number 3.
Okay, thank you, Hanan. And my name is Lim Hui-in, number matrix 299972. Now I'm going to talk about question 3. And the question 3 is talk about 2 benefits of online for introverted students. The first benefit is comfortable communication environment. Online learning provides a more comfortable communication environment for introverted students who often feel anxious about speaking out in traditional face-to-face classroom. These students may struggle with the pressure of having to speak in front of their peers, especially when expected to provide immediate response during discussion or presentation. In contrast, the online learning environment creates a safe and less stressful space for them to participate more authentically. In an online setting, communication often takes place through written format, such as discussion board, chat, email, or virtual forum. This platform enables students to engage with the material and with one another at their own pace. This allows introverted students to take their time to reflect deeply on the topic being discussed, gather their thoughts carefully, and construct well thought-out response without the pressure of having to speak on the spot in front of others. This flexibility is particularly beneficial for those who feel nervous in real-time people interaction. Unlike extroverted students who may thrive in worker classroom interaction and enjoy spontaneous verbal engagement, introverted students tend to prefer internal processing and quiet environment. They are more comfortable thinking things through on their own before sharing their perspective. The asynchronous nature of many online discussions help them express their idea more clearly and confidently. By removing the time constraint and public nature of classroom speaking, these students are better able to articulate their thoughts in a way that reflects their true understanding and insight. They can contribute to group discussion in a meaningful way without the fear of being interrupted, overlooked, or judged based on how they speak. This inclusive and respectful environment fosters greater engagement and participation from students who may otherwise remain silent in physical classroom. As a result, introverted students are given a fair platform to voice their opinion and idea. This kind of learning environment help boost their self-confidence, enhance the quality of their response, and ensure their voice are heard. Something that may not always happen in traditional setting where more outspoken students tend to dominate discussion. In the long run, this can lead to improved academic performance and a more positive overall learning experience for introverted learners. For example, a student who usually avoid participating in physical classroom due to shyness may feel more comfortable using an online forum to answer questions. In such a forum, they can carefully think through their answer, write them down with consideration, and edit their response before submitting. This process not only reduces essential but also lead to more thoughtful and detailed contribution, allowing the student to participate in a way that aligns with their personal communication style and cognitive preference. That's all from me. I will pass to Alia.
Hi, thank you. Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Alia binti Mazat Hazan and my metric number is 292256. I will continue to share about one of the most significant benefits of online learning, especially for introvert students, which is the ability to learn at your own pace and independently. So first, unlike traditional classroom, where everyone moves through the material at the same speed, online platform give students control over their learning journey. Introvert students who may need more time to process information can spend extra time on challenging topic or revisit lesson as often as they need. There's no pressure to keep up with the others or fear of being judged by for asking questions. Second is this is self-paced approach significantly reduce stress and peer pressure. Introvert students often feel anxious about being compared to their classmates or being put on the spot. With online learning, they can focus on their own progress, free from distraction and competition. This creates a more comfortable and supportive environment, allowing them to build confidence in their abilities. Another major benefit is flexibility, which we will know online learning allows students to choose when and where they study. Introvert learners can create a study environment that suits their needs, whether that's a quiet room at home or a cozy corner at a library. They can also set their own study schedule, working during the time of day when they feel most focused and alert. So I will give you an example of real life application. Imagine an introvert student will struggle to keep up with the fast pace of a traditional classroom. With online learning, the student can pause, review, and revisit recorded lesson until they fully understand the content. They can set their own goals, track their progress, and celebrate each milestone as their master new topics, without the anxiety of falling behind. In summary, self-paced and independent learning empower introvert students to take ownership of their education. It reduces stress, builds confidence, and allows for a deeper understanding of the material. By offering flexibility and personalization material, online learning helps introvert students thrive in ways that traditional classroom cannot. Thank you for listening. I hope this gives you a better understanding of why self-paced and online learning is such a powerful tools for introvert students. Thank you.
So that's all from our group discussion. Thank you.